In this video, I'm going to be telling you 5 things you can do right now to help your natural hair grow faster. It doesn't matter if you have natural hair, relaxed hair, a different texture of hair than mine. These tips will work for everyone because they are that good. If you don't know me, my name is Angelica. I post videos twice a week all about growing long, healthy hair. So if that seems like something you might be interested in, I also do a little bit of like skincare, makeup, whatever fun stuff you guys request on an extra day like a Friday. So if that seems like something you might be interested in, consider subscribing. The subscription button is right down there as well as the bell icon. Make sure you hit the bell so you get notifications every single time I post. Without further ado, let's get straight into the first tip. Okay, so the first tip is one you might be like, why are you giving us this tip? And this is I rarely use direct heat on my hair. The reason why I'm saying you might be like, is clearly because my hair is blown out. And this is only the second time I have blown out my hair this entire year. The second time I've used direct heat on my hair. I flat ironed my hair once in May, kind of in the middle, I think. So it's been about 7 months, and this is the only other time I have used direct heat on my hair. Now the reason why I'm saying specifically direct heat is because direct heat can be very damaging to your hair. It can make your hair very dry. It can make it flaky. It can make your hair brittle. When you're combing your hair in the blow dried state, you could be shedding a little more because you have to comb it a little bit more often. Also, your scalp gets kind of dry because of the whole blow drying process. And even though your hair might feel moisturized, there's a higher chance that your scalp feels a little bit more dry and flaky and has like dandruff, maybe itching. So it can lead to a lot of hair loss, breakage, and damage. And then the heat is also extremely damaging to your hair. I'm sure you've seen a lot of people that have heat damage. Your curls cannot curl or form anymore, and it just looks bad. The only way to get rid of heat damage is the same way you get rid of split ends. You just have to cut them off. Speaking of split ends, clearly I know I do need to trim my ends. I will do that when I flat iron my hair so I can get a nice even cut. But anyway, direct heat is very, very bad for your hair, especially if you do it a lot. Now, indirect heat can actually be good for your hair, and this is heat like going under a steamer, putting your hair in a plastic cap, and then going under a dryer with deep conditioner. This can actually help open your cuticles and allow lots of heat and moisture to get into your hair and seal in the products, because if you have low porosity hair like mine, there's a chance that your cuticles are quite closed and it's hard for products to go into your hair. So, if you add heat, indirect heat, your cuticles are going to kind of open, allowing the product to go in. And then when you wash your hair and your hair cools down, it's going to close and it's going to seal the moisture in your hair. So indirect heat can actually be amazing for your hair, but direct heat, try your best to avoid it. And it's something I have done the whole year. As you can see, I've only used the heat twice. So the next thing you can do to help grow your hair longer and faster is to only shampoo your hair when your hair needs it and to co-wash when it doesn't need it. So everybody's hair is different. For me, it works well because I don't really style my hair. I don't use lots of products with buildup like, hair gels and stuff like that. I don't coat my hair in those products or even styling products. Most of the time, my hair is just moisturized and then put into little twists or braids or anything like that. So my hair never gets too dirty, not to mention this entire year we've barely been going outside. So not even dust or anything like that gets into my hair. So my hair never gets too dirty. So when it's time to wash my hair, 3 times of the month, I will only wash my hair with a conditioner, aka a co-wash. There's no need for me to use shampoo, and my hair still feels perfectly clean. It doesn't feel mushy, it doesn't get any buildup, and it feels amazing. However, if that is too much for you, you can try maybe shampoo one week and then co-wash the other week, then shampoo, and just alternate that way. But for me, 3 weeks in a row with a co-wash is perfect. My hair feels nice and hydrated. And then on the fourth wash, I will use a shampoo. And when I do shampoo, I will use a shampoo that has a sulfate in it. Now, if I was one of those people who washed my hair with a shampoo every other week or every week, I would only stick to sulfate-free shampoos and only use a sulfate shampoo possibly once to twice a month. But because I only shampoo my hair once a month with a shampoo, I prefer to use a sulfate shampoo that is still moisturizing. It doesn't feel drying like one of those that leaves your hair squeaky clean and it strips your hair of all its moisture. My shampoo does not use that. Right now, I'm using the Cream of Nature shea butter and mango ultra moisturizing shampoo, and it works really well. My hair never feels dry. Whenever I want a total deep clean, this is what I use. And also, if you only use sulfate free shampoos every single time you wash your hair and you're starting to feel like your hair is maybe losing its shape and your curls are just not forming the way you want them to, or you feel like your hair just feels a little off, try deep cleaning with a sulfate shampoo or just something like possibly a bentonite clay mask or apple cider vinegar, just to do a deep clean of your hair and remove any of the traces of anything that might be sitting on top of your hair and affecting the way your hair looks. So I know sulfates are always labeled bad in the natural hair community and we should never use them, but I'm giving you tips based on my own experience and from research from other people who have used similar methods like this. So I actually highly recommend a moisturizing, cleansing shampoo. The third thing you can do to grow your hair longer is one of the best things you could possibly do literally for anything in life, but in this case, definitely for your hair. And this is to keep a routine slash regimen that is consistent. Just find a routine, whatever works for you, and keep it consistent. Don't copy other people's routines. Don't copy other people's routines only because there's a high chance that it won't work for you. For example, most of the time I would do my hair on a Sunday, and that would be my designated wash day. That was because I went to work from Monday to Saturday, and the only day I had to do anything was Sunday. So if I needed to do a full wash day routine, I would do it on a Sunday. Now I'm self employed, so literally my wash day can be any day. I can just decide Wednesday is my wash day or Friday is my wash day. So if you have a job that you go to every single day and you don't have the time, my specific routine might not work for you. So find a routine that works for you. And if you're wondering what needs to go into the routine, I think the best thing to do is start with the most basic routine, because everything starts from the foundation. Once you master the foundation, it's much easier to add things into your routine and like try a few other things. So I'll give you a classic example of my basic routine without any of the extra things that are not like always needed. My basic routine would be shampoo my hair every 7 to 10 days using a co-wash if it's one of the other days out of the month, or if it's at the end of the month, I would use a shampoo. So, 3 times of the month, I will use a co-wash. Last time of the month, I will use a shampoo, and most of the time I use the same products. I use the same co-washing conditioner. It's usually one of these cheapy herbal essences ones, and then I would also use the same shampoo at the end of the month, which is this one. I will deep condition every single week, whether I co-wash or wash with a shampoo. I will always deep condition, and I either use this Eden Bodyworks split end repair mask, or I would use my Shea Moisture and Manuka Honey Deep Conditioner. It's not with me right now. I think I finished it and maybe threw it away. And then after I wash my hair, like my most basic routine, what I do when I'm not doing anything, after I wash my hair, I would moisturize my hair with the African Pride leave-in cream, go over with whatever oil mix I have or plain oil, usually whatever's on hand. So if I find the dew grow, I'll use the dew grow. If I find plain olive oil, I will use that and seal it in. That is my basic routine. If I'm not going to buy anything else, if I'm not going to do anything new, that's my basic routine. And I highly suggest that you just do a very basic routine as well, just with maybe 3 to 4 products or 4 to 5 products, depending on what your hair actually needs. And then now when I'm like, okay, now I feel like my hair feels a little bit too mushy, or my curls are not forming as much, I'll go ahead and do a protein treatment. Or I feel like my hair needs a little boost, I want to try something, I'll go ahead and use my rice water. But those are things that are not necessarily needed in your treatment, because if let's say you're like, oh, I wanted to do rice water today, and then I'm like, oh, I didn't make it in advance because I like to use the Yao Women recipe, and that needs to ferment for 5 weeks or more. And then I'm going to be like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Maybe I just won't wash my hair and wait, and that disrupts your routine. So find a basic routine so that if anything is not available, you can always find something to substitute. And then if you have something specific that's like a DIY, like rice water, and you want to add it into your routine, you can go ahead and do that. But start by making the simplest thing, because there's a higher chance that you stick to it and it's actually going to work for you and you will start to see results, because consistency is key. A routine means you repeatedly do the same things over and over and over again. Don't do it for 1 week and you're like, I don't think this worked, or 2 weeks. Try at least a solid 2 months of a specific routine doing the same things over and over again, and your hair is actually going to start showing real results. It's like working out. When you work out the first day, you might feel like, oh, maybe my abs are like poking out, and go and look in the mirror. But in reality, you won't see anything until about 6 weeks later, and then you're like, oh, now I can see a little bit of the benefits of what I've been doing. So it's very much similar with a hair care routine as well. Let's get into the fourth thing you can do to grow your hair longer, thicker, and faster. This one is something that you can add to the last tip after you have set your routine and you're like, you know what, I've got it down. Now, if I want to play around, I can easily do it and I know exactly where to fit it into my routine. It is rice water. We're coming closer to the end of the year, and I wanted to make sure that some of these tips I'm including here are things that I have been doing throughout the year and I've seen benefits from. And rice water is something that has worked for me so well. The biggest thing is I usually get a little bit of accelerated growth, but not every single time I use it. Like maybe after a week or two, I'll notice I have like an extra half an inch longer than how long it would usually take, if that makes any sense. Um, but sometimes my hair just grows completely normal when I use the rice water. But what I always see instantly is a reduction in shedding. So if you suffer with excessive shedding or you have finer hair, the quickest way to make your finer hair or thinner hair thicker and fuller is to reduce the amount of shedding you have and make sure that your hair is hydrated and plump. Rice water really helps with that. It's got a little bit of protein in it and it has a little bit of starch, so if you don't use it properly, it might not work great for you. I do have many videos actually. I have an entire playlist. I think I'll just link the playlist up here so you can check out a bunch of rice water videos in case you haven't seen them before. But if you're in the natural hair community, you've probably seen them before. But my favorite way to use rice water has been using the Yao Women recipe because my hair would always feel a little bit dry when I use rice water. Even though I would see amazing benefits, I think my hair, the starch and the little protein that it has just did something to my hair that didn't make it feel amazing afterwards until the next time I washed my hair. But once I discovered the Yao Women's recipe, it totally changed the game. So if you want to see only the specific Yao Women recipe, I'll also link that in the eye here. And at the end of the video, I'll link the playlist again. So in case you didn't click now and you want to finish the video, you'll see that at the end. Now let me just address the fact that I know 100% rice water does not work for everyone. Sometimes you have the complete opposite effect. Maybe it makes your hair shed more and you don't like the way it feels, but you will not know if you don't try it. I can give the perfect example, coconut oil. A lot of people love coconut oil because it is very nourishing. I actually have coconut oil in my food, like I usually ingest it, and that's how I get the benefits because you know benefits go inside and outside, and usually what goes in your body is even more important that goes on your body than what goes on your body or your hair in this case. But I do just eat the coconut oil. I have tried coconut oil in so many different ways on my hair, and every single way I have tried it, it doesn't work. The only way it works is if it's formulated into a product perfectly. Like this is the detangling shampoo pre-poo that I use when I do need to pre-poo my hair, which is very rarely. It has coconut water, not coconut oil, coconut water, and my hair actually loves it. And some products I use actually have coconut oil formulated into them, and my hair totally loves them. So maybe you could just try even a product that's formulated with rice in it and it would possibly work. But for me, the DIY is super quick, it's very cheap, very little effort. I'm all for maximizing effort versus time. If I could pay for something that worked way better or just as good as what I can make myself with a very long shelf life, and I don't have to worry about measurements being wrong or reacting with anything else in my hair, I would totally buy it. But rice water is the best thing I have ever made that's DIY. It has a long shelf life, even up to 2 months in the fridge after it's fermented. So I would highly recommend using rice water. But again, I put this closer to the end because if it doesn't work for you, please substitute it with anything else that might work better for you. I don't necessarily recommend always substituting one DIY for another. Like if rice water doesn't work, then try avocado mask. I would rather say if rice water doesn't work for you, maybe try just some other really good deep conditioner or something like that. Unless you have a DIY on hand that works perfectly and you want to do that, you can go ahead and use that because I always say natural products are highly unstable. So mixing a bunch of products without knowing what mixes with what is not always the best thing because even poison ivy is a natural product. So just because it's natural doesn't mean it's amazing for you. The fifth tip is something that is highly overlooked, and one of the main reasons why people say, my hair doesn't grow. I do everything, but my hair stays at the same length. I think my hair just doesn't grow because it's been at the same length for 2 years. This is taking care of your ends, paying special attention to your ends. Hair is always growing. If your hair wasn't growing, you would be bald because hair sheds. So every few months or weeks, your hair goes through a shedding cycle. If your hair wasn't growing, eventually all your hair would just be off and you would be bald, or you have alopecia. That is a medical condition, and that is something completely different that we're not addressing here. But if your hair just seems like everything is going sort of fine, but it just doesn't grow, there's a high chance that your hair is growing at the same rate that it is breaking at the same rate that it is growing. So what you need to do is pay special attention to your ends, because your ends are the oldest parts of your hair and it's where you see the length. Cutting your hand Cutting your hair doesn't make it grow faster because your hair grows from your roots. The only thing is, when you just cut your hair, you're probably more aware and you're like, let me take care of every part of my hair, and you start to see the growth faster. But it's actually an illusion. The hair doesn't grow from the ends, it grows out of your scalp. So just keep a nice, healthy scalp. But once the hair grows out, focus on your ends. Just put a little bit of everything you put on your hair, just put a little bit extra onto your ends. When you detangle your hair, don't just put the brush through. Always hold your hair, make sure you tend to your ends, be gentle with your hair, and you start to see results so fast. And also, like I said, your hair doesn't grow from the ends, but if you have very damaged split ends, you will want to cut those off and it won't be breaking as it's growing. As you can see, after I blow dried my hair, if you can see that these little bits of hair here, I do have a couple split ends and I do need a trim. However, my hair does have like shrinkage in different areas, so some of these ends are probably not split. It's just because of the way my hair is, because some places are shrunken and some are not. So the best way for me is when I have a complete like straight flat iron, then I will see how much I need to cut off. It's probably like a solid inch or even an inch and a half that I will need to cut off. And when it is time to do that, I will do it. But for now, I don't want to damage my hair or make it uneven, because then I'm going to have to start evening it out, and that's not what you want. So pay very close attention to your ends. If you don't have split ends, like if your hair was perfectly straight, doesn't even have to be straight, but if there's no split ends at the ends, do not cut them off. You're just cutting off your length. There's nothing to cut off. And now, I know I said 5 tips, but you guys know I always have a bonus at the end. And this is the bonus that everybody hates, and it is patience. Unfortunately, patience is the biggest key to hair growth. All you have to do is be patient, do everything you can, and then be patient. Because if you're not patient, it's only going to lead to stress, it's going to lead to damage. Because when you're stressed, your body goes into overdrive, it starts sending blood flow and everything to vital organs, and your hair is not one of those. Second, you're just worrying about something that there's nothing, you can literally do nothing about it. If your hair grows slower than someone else you admire, or you're watching and you're like, I wish my hair grew that fast, and your hair is not growing that fast, the time is still gonna pass. If you thought your hair was going to grow by 10 inches in 1 year and it only grew 4 inches, a whole year has still passed. So all you can do is maximize what you have, try and retain the length, do the best that you can do. Don't be measuring your hair every single week and being like, let me see if it grew another inch, let me see if it grew another inch, because it's one of those things where you just wake up one day and you're like, oh my God, my hair is so much longer than the last time I noticed, or it just looks like it grew overnight. That is such an amazing feeling, and you're like, wow, what I've been doing is actually working. So trust the process. Follow all these tips I've given you. Find other YouTubers and follow their tips. Know that everything is working and that whatever you're doing is paying off, and eventually you're going to see the results. You see the growth, you see the health always comes before length. If you want more tips like this, make sure you leave your comments in the comment section below, like specifically what kind of video you'd want. Maybe you want a makeup tutorial. I love how my makeup came up today. Let me know in the comment sections below. Hit my face right there if you didn't subscribe in the beginning. Hit my face here if you'd like to subscribe to my other channel. Watch the 2 videos on the side of the screen right here if you'd like to see any of my older videos. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye!